Live from the home of Al Capone, Michael Jordan, and Deep Dish Pizza. Giving it to you straight from the horse's mouth. Unfiltered and restoring hope to the podcast universe. Gary Franchi.
That is right, folks. We are restoring hope here on the G-Cast. I'm Gary Franchi. I am joined by my beloved bride, Angie Franchi, on this special, what number are we in now? Is this the 8th episode of the G-Cast now?
We have arrived.
Yeah, here we are, 8th episode of the G-Cast. It's also day 5 of the self-imposed presidential shelter-in-place order that the CDC has recommended at this point.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. We're all in this together. And here we are on our 8th. Is it really our 8th?
It is, yeah. 8th episode.
And we have reached 10,000 subscribers.
10,000 subscribers so far, which is pretty remarkable for a small podcast like this.
I'm honored. I'm super honored for that.
Well,
Thank you, guys.
People want to hear what's going on, and they want to come to us for the information. And tonight, we're going to get into it's everywhere. We're talking about it. The Chinese Wuhan virus, COVID-19. Also, how states are responding. How communities are responding around the world.
A lot of love happening around the world right now, and it's keeping us positive. We're going to be talking about some of the things that I'm having to deal with, family activities, how to keep ourselves busy in this time. Also, we're going to discuss Trump's toll level. We're also going to be bringing in our personal friend, Catherine Battista of the Aurora Interfaith Pantry. She's doing a tremendous job right now under this amount of stress that's been poured onto her and everyone at the pantry. We'll bring in her and talk to her.
Yeah, she'll be joining us by phone a little bit later in the program, and we're gonna find out exactly what her needs are and how many people that she's supporting, what changes that she's made to. Because she actually has to interact with the public in such a level that how do you handle that when there's social distancing in order? You have to have 6 feet away from people, and you're dealing with volunteers who, well, maybe they just want to stay home. So you're gonna have a level of stress while you still have a responsibility to feed.
Huge responsibility
to feed people.
Yeah, it's going to be great talking to her and watching her in action.
Well, we know that she's doing a lot of work. So last night was interesting for me. We did a live call-in show on the Next News Network channel, and there were thousands and thousands of people who were watching. I mean, there must have been hundreds of people who called in, giving us updates from all around the country. And if you haven't listened to that, it's about 2.5 hours long. It was pretty epic live broadcast last night. I will link to it down in the description.
You had a feeling it was going to go pretty long, didn't you?
I knew it was going to go long because as soon as you start taking phone calls, it just starts to, you just can't stop because you want to make sure that you can get to every voice so that everybody can present what's happening to them. Nobody has an outlet really. You can go on social media, but to be able to broadcast what is happening in your part of the country to the audience on the Next News is pretty substantial. So we gave everybody a voice to be able to present that. Do you have the list up right now of the current global cases, Angie?
I do.
What are you seeing right there?
Right now we're looking globally right now, total deaths, 10,444 total deaths.
You can bring that up on NDI, Brian.
We're looking at Italy. We're looking at China. That includes Iran and Spain. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in day by day.
255,000 total confirmed cases across the world. And that number, I believe, is only going to increase. Sadly, it's only going to increase as more testing becomes available. So don't freak out if you see a spike in numbers. That's simply because
Definitely.
more test cases are more tests are coming online, and you're going to see the reality that there's a lot more people that have this thing out there than we really know already, than is documented. We also, the State Department, well, this is what's interesting. San Francisco initially ordered a shelter in place. California, statewide, did a shelter in place order. New York, I believe they have already issued their shelter-in-place order. Illinois, issuing a shelter-in-place order. The National Guard's been deployed. And I want to make sure people understand something. These guys are out here to help us, right? They're here because they're our fellow Americans. They are our neighbors. They are our friends. And they're simply out there in uniform to help and support the medical community that is completely stressed to the max. So while you hear rumors of martial law and lockdowns, these are big, scary words, but they actually, we're not in a martial law scenario. I mean, not yet. I mean, that certainly is something that could happen if you have once the guard is in place, all you have to do is issue the orders. They can shut down the streets. They can shut down the roads. They can issue checkpoints. The governor of Illinois said that's not going to happen, though.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of, if you know what could happen, of course, that's the scary part. But like you, Gary, I feel calm about it. I'm not overstressed over thinking that it could turn into something like martial law and chaos and just scarier for the general public. I feel calm about it.
Well, I feel okay. I am still a little freaked out.
Yeah, it's not fun to see like footage of, tanks coming in and all this military coming in.
I just got I'm getting constant messages from people, and I'll bring up this video that's been circulating here.
Which one is that?
When I have it ready, I'll have.
I know you and I have been like messaging back and forth. Did you see this? Did you
see that,
this?
Brian? Bring up that shot there. Now this is, I believe this was on 55, Illinois. This was Lonnie Williams' shot we played last night.
Okay.
Now the governor of Illinois issued a statement about this very video because he felt that the person who was recording it was not correct. He said they're going up to Chicago to lock down Chicago.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
But is that really happening? I don't know. They said that's not. But even when the government comes out and says, "Hey, we're here to help you," I question it. I question it. You can bring that down, Brian. So the State Department on Thursday issued an extraordinary advisory urging Americans not to travel overseas and return to the United States if they can. A move that comes amid concerns about the coronavirus pandemic. A level 4 travel advisory for all international travel appears to be unprecedented and is the most severe such warning issued by the department. It urges Americans who live abroad or otherwise cannot reach the U.S. to essentially stay where they are and avoid crossing international boundaries. So essentially what this is, if they can't reach the U.S., if you're an American living abroad, they're basically issuing a shelter-in-place order for Americans abroad at this point.
We have to do what we got to do. And I mean, after watching so many press conferences and the one earlier today, we just have to take what's being recommended, sit still, let's get through this. No one's going to be trapped. No one's going to be left behind. And certainly Americans won't be left behind anywhere. It's tough, but it has to be done.
24 elderly are trapped in Peru, it says. U.S. citizens trapped abroad.
I can't even imagine. As long as their circumstances where they are, they feel safe and their health is not at risk at this point as much as ours is, we can get through this and they'll be able to get back here. Don't you think?
I think this is going to last for about 4 weeks. I think that's where we stand right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people, concerned individuals, and they're asking, how long is this going to last, Gary? I tell them, the CDC says 15 days. The government says 15 days. Everyone should just chill out, Netflix and chill, binge watch some shows, make sure you got enough food supply. And there you are. Wait it out for 15 days.
Let's look at it like that. I love people who are sharing their, it's called a reset button.
Uh-huh.
you know? It's so good to consider it that way versus looking at it like you are in complete another lockdown, which, we could look at it like that, but the other day I'm like, I'm taking walks with our kids. I made a joke with my brother. I'm like, we're gonna come out of this stronger than ever. Like we've served a prison sentence. You're gonna be loving God and hopefully a better killer body at the end. But that's how I'm looking at it. I'm staying positive. I'm taking this time to reflect and spend time with my family. It's more important than anything right now to stay positive. And also helping with the community. We got to stay close with our community and see how we can be more of assistance and of need. And we're going to be talking about someone who's awesome in our community later in the show, how they've been helping out.
Many foreign citizens, including Americans, trapped in Morocco. Flights canceled, hotels closed, no money, stranded, distraught. President Trump promised military assistance in their safe return. I'm surprised they haven't grounded flights yet. I think that's next.
I am too.
I mean, do you remember a 9/11? Like, no planes anywhere.
That was really eerie.
It was for the longest time. I don't remember how long that shutdown was, the flight shutdown, but it was crazy.
Does this feel like 9/11 to you?
A little bit. A little bit it does. Yeah.
It doesn't for me. I feel like it's totally different. This is, how the president keeps referring to this as the invisible enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is like how I'm looking at this. Like 9/11, we had an enemy that we could focus on and who we wanted to fight back. This is like something so different and so strange. But I feel a lot better now. I feel after a couple of days of being inside.
Well, I don't get out much very often anyway, so this is just like par for the course for me.
It's terrible.
I
try to get you out so much, Gare. This is it. This is our time to get you to go for a walk. And which you always say,
I'm not going anywhere.
I don't
man.
walk.
I am not going anywhere. Straight up, I'm staying home. I want to put like a biohazard symbol on my front door and just be like, hey,
you're out of control.
Stay away. Stay away.
That's not what we want anybody to do.
Well, you still, okay. If people are delivering groceries and stuff, you want to make sure you have social distancing because those people are out there.
Absolutely.
And in some cases, I'd
for
say
their protection and ours.
I would say just leave the groceries at the door. Don't say bye-bye. Nice to see you through the window.
I've done that, and they
it's
understand.
Painful to do that.
I was really like, after I did that yesterday, it was the first time I did it. I was like, just leave it by the door, please.
Yeah.
They get it. I get it. It's temporary. It's nothing personal. We're just keeping each other safe and healthy.
Brian,
right?
the guest one shot there, I just modified that camera. Angie, you look so beautiful today.
Thank you.
Can you bring up guest one shot?
I'm juicing.
Guest one.
I'm
there she
juicing
is.
while I'm in lockdown.
That's the shot. That's the shot for Angie.
Thank you.
Make sure you use that one. Don't use any other shots.
Just keep it on me.
Oh, she's so beautiful. So we're going to get into the state's response to the pandemic in the next segment.
Yeah.
But I did receive a document that is
huge
really
document.
Big document. This is from, I didn't even get a chance to go into this yesterday. It is the Department of Health and Human Services, unclassified for official use only, PANCAP adapted U.S. government COVID-19 response plan. Now, I did link to this on my Facebook page so people can look at it themselves. It's 100 pages in detail of what the government is doing to respond. The Department of Defense, the Department of Agriculture, everybody. This is the full scope of the operation and the different levels of the operation. I haven't even had a chance to go into this.
I can't imagine that you would after everything you've been doing.
I mean, this actually details very specific workflows, if you can see here, workflows for different government functions and how FEMA responds and how the National Guard responds and what are the different trigger mechanisms that will force the next phase of the action of the government response. So I encourage you to go to my Facebook page and locate the post that's on my wall there. That will give you the link to this very document.
Do you think that's going to be more helpful, or is it going to hype someone up more, depending on
No,
the
I
person,
think it's. I think it'll be helpful because it outlines, so you're not caught off guard. If you if you print
I
out this
agree with that.
document and you review it, then you're going to know what's going to happen and you can prepare accordingly. So it's in today's day and age, it's all about information, what you know and how you know it,
And where you're getting your
where
information.
you're getting it from. And what is scary is that I've been getting so many messages. I've been seeing so many text messages and screenshots of XYZ, and some of it just sounds crazy. So, and then the government comes out and they contradict what you're saying or what you're seeing, but then it happens. Like all this week, we've heard that Illinois was going to go into lockdown. And here we are on Friday, and the governor makes his announcement. We knew this 48 hours ago because people talk. The word gets out. And then they have to address the rumors. For example, the National Guard put out a message because they wanted to clarify. Let me see if I could find that the actual message that came up here.
We're also we're like you said, we're getting prepped for the next step of what's going to happen. You know, the closing of schools, businesses in our area, only having drive-through or DoorDash. Is DoorDash everywhere?
DoorDash, I think, yeah, DoorDash is everywhere.
Okay.
I think they just went public, too, as a matter of fact. Uber Eats.
Yeah.
It's really important. It's really important to...
That's what our version of shelter in place means these days.
Thanks for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up, because if you go back and watch Governor Cuomo's press conference yesterday from New York, I thought it was probably one of the most reassuring press conferences that I had seen, and how he was dispelling a lot of the rumors and myths and disinformation that's out there.
Yeah, because he had mentioned that he had friends and relatives calling him and freaked out over what this could mean. What does shelter in place mean?
And it doesn't mean that you're like, okay, the way he presented it was shelter in place is an older term that was used during the Cold War that meant if there is a nuclear attack, what do? You have to go to a room with no windows and lock yourself in there until you get an all clear signal. That's what shelter in place means. So it has this scary connotation that harkens back to the nuclear.
Those images.
Yeah.
I mean, as you're speaking to me, I'm seeing that.
So when they say shelter in place now, it's very different. Okay, you shelter in place in your house.
With Netflix.
With Netflix, as long as the internet is able to sustain itself. Shelter in place with your Netflix, you've got your Uber apps, you've got Errand Up.
Tito's.
You got Tito's vodka, you know. And
oh my God.
You know, as long as
you're comfortable.
You're comfortable. It's a comfortable shelter in place.
You are blessed if you have a roof over your head right now, and pray for those who are not in the in a home or in a warm place to be with food in front of them.
Well, and that's why we're going to talk to Cat Battista. We're going to talk to Cat Battista in the D block today, and just basically find out what her needs are and how those needs can be met by our viewers today.
And hopefully we'll inspire other people to do the same in their community.
Yeah.
Just start reaching out.
Well, that's the other part of this is people are coming together to support each other, and you're going to find out, you know, who's looking out for number one and who's looking out for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. And so far, everyone is looking out for one another. I'm happy to say that in our community. I'm so happy to say that.
Now, we got about 50 seconds before we close out this segment and go to a quick break. While we're in the break, I'm going to look up and find that document that was sent to me, the National Guard official response in Illinois, so we can dispel some of the myths that are out there.
I like that.
But we are currently in a shelter-in-place situation here. Personally, we've been doing it since last Thursday.
I know. So it's kind of like we're ready.
We're already in.
Yeah.
You know, before the president made his announcement, we had already just taken the steps to do so. So we're ahead of the game, and thankfully we're healthy. So we're going to come back on the flip side of this break.
Stick around, everybody. Join us back.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The GCast will be right back after this short break from our sponsors. GCast After Hours is back.
Here we are. Once again on the GCast, thank you for joining us. We're moving into the B block.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing all right out there.
States are responding to the pandemic warning. States issuing shelter-in-place orders. Illinois among them. Chicago Tribune, Governor Pritzker making the announcement earlier today. And here we are. But don't fear, folks. Do not fear.
That is one scripture, Joshua 1:9, I keep rereading over and over again, especially with the kids. To not fear what's happening right now and to really stay calm and understand that we will be okay.
I'm looking for that message here I got earlier today. I've got so many messages. It's insane.
You've been busy. A lot of people are looking out to see what you have to say about this.
So here it is. This is the Illinois National Guard. There are a lot of rumors going around about the Illinois National Guard being activated to enforce a quarantine in Chicago or other areas of the state. Some even have video of a train moving military equipment near the city. We confirmed with our logistics officer that we haven't had trains moving Illinois National Guard equipment through Chicago in more than a month. Now, the footage I played last night was recorded February 19th. And that was trains physically. You could see them moving through Chicago with military equipment. So what he's saying is correct. In more than a month. These are not our vehicles, though. The military moves equipment all the time. This has nothing to do with COVID-19 response. The Illinois National Guard has activated 60 troops for COVID-19 response so far. The majority of these, about 45, are medical, with the mission of setting up drive-through screening sites The rest are planners, including medical planners and liaison officers. We have liaison officers embedded within the Illinois Emergency Management Agency and the Illinois Department of Public Health. There's been no discussion of using Illinois National Guard to enforce a quarantine. The only discussion has been of using them for transportation, food distribution, construction, renovating mothballed hospitals to make them functional again, or building temporary hospital space and a few other missions. But nothing about quarantining the city of Chicago or shutting down highways or any of the other wild rumors that have been circulating.
Yeah, we're not there. We're not there in that picture that's being painted right now.
And that's what the gentleman in the video we played at the beginning of the show, he said, look at all these Humvees. They must be going up to quarantine Chicago. The governor making it clear, and the National Guard now making it clear that that's not the case. But it doesn't mean it's not on the table.
If we get to that point, yeah.
Now, let's see where we're at here. Nothing about quarantining the city of Chicago or shutting down highways or any other wild rumors. People are understandably anxious about the coronavirus. We will let people know as troops are activated for additional missions. Please remember, the National Guard is a community-based organization. We are your neighbors, your friends, and your relatives. That is what we have to remember. It's not like we've got Chinese troops. You know, this is not a Red Dawn scenario, folks. Okay? If it was, we would need to call Patrick Swayze immediately.
Oh, Patrick Swayze.
That's like one of my favorite movies, Red Dawn.
I know.
I love that movie.
I know,
Wolverines.
but that's where your mind goes, because none of us have dealt with anything like this before. You know?
Like we're all going to escape to the mountains, you know, with our food supplies and our pickup trucks and our guns.
You've been trying to get me to watch like the craziest movies right now. Everything to do with what's going on right now. And I'm like,
let's watch Outbreak. Let's watch Contagion. Right? No, thank you.
oh, thank you. I'm not ready for that at all. I'm like, put a comedy on. I'll watch the Weather Channel with you at this point, just to like stay out of it.
Yeah, the Weather Channel.
I like the Weather Channel.
COVID-19 winds coming in from the east.
That's terrible. Don't ruin the Weather Channel for me.
What was that movie we tried watching the other night with Donnie? Not Donnie Wahlberg.
Mark.
Marky.
Wahlberg.
Mark.
Sniper?
No, it was like, it was.
Why do you do this to me? Hold on. We didn't get to finish it.
We didn't get to finish. It was a good movie though.
It was great. I was trying to find
figure it
it yesterday.
You look up the name of that video. I'm gonna.
Yeah, because now it's gonna drive me nuts.
Okay, PBS. What is PBS saying here? Okay, this is crazy.
Because this matters. Look at me. What am I
This is
doing?
crazy. Detainees walking out of cells into voting booths in Chicago. Detainees walk out of cells into voting booths in Chicago.
Okay, if the virus wasn't bizarre enough, what's happening right here is even wilder. What they're doing with the jail cells and how they're saying, you know, we're not going to be doing certain arrests. Is that what I heard, or is that in California?
Well, they're letting prisoners out of jail, and then they're asking people to not purchase firearms, which I think is ridiculous. You're gonna let criminals out of prison.
You're scaring people.
Yeah, you. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna restrict your access to self-defense weapons, and we're gonna open up all the prisons.
That doesn't sound right.
Because we don't want the COVID-19 to spread in the prisons, so we're just gonna send these people out in the general population. And by the way, hand in your firearms, and you can't gas up your trucks.
That is a very, very bad move.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know the logic behind it.
I didn't like that. That freaked me out more than anything. To read that, I'm like, no.
Okay, so this story here,
I don't have
this
any.
person, Wilson, never thought it was worth the trouble to vote, and never had, but inside Cook County Jail, Wilson sees it differently. Voting is a chance to remind himself that his opinion matters, and to show his family he's doing more than just letting one day bleed into the next.
Cool.
I felt good, said Wilson, 28, who'd been locked up on gun charges for 7 months. I felt like I was doing something right. Wilson is among over 1,200 detainees at the county lockup in Chicago, doing something new in Illinois, except for one small pilot at a women's jail in California, something that may never have been undertaken in any jail in the United States. They are casting their ballots at a polling place set up inside the jail. That's crazy. Never heard of that before.
Nor have I, but I like it.
Okay, here's another story. This is from commondreams.org. In normal circumstances, ICE has proven time and time again that it's unable to protect the health and safety of detained people. These are not normal circumstances. Applauding release of prisoners in Ohio due to coronavirus threat, ACLU calls on officials nationwide to do the same. Do you know what happened? I mean, earlier today, Pompeo went on and said that they are literally going to be locking down the Mexican border. The Canadian border is already shut down. And if you do not have proper documentation as to why you're entering the country, forget it. You are not coming in. Not coming in.
We have to do this right now. We absolutely have to. Now more than ever, how important is this?
Well, I think it's interesting that the president has had such an aggressive immigration policy, in that now here we are with an invisible threat, and that invisible threat is giving him justification to do the things he wanted to do before.
Yeah, he mentioned that during the press conference earlier today. And that has to be noted. I mean, this is exactly why he has put so much of his focus and emphasis on border control. This is one of the very reasons. And I don't know. I haven't heard a peep from anyone saying, no, don't do this right now.
Yeah, where's Nancy Pelosi? Where's the rest of the people who've been opposing his immigration policy? They're not stepping up and saying, don't do it. At least I haven't heard that yet. Because they understand there is a threat. And if they go push back against it, the blood will be on their hands. At least this thing is going to bring people together. That's what's most important.
He's emphasized on that as well. Like, this needs to bring us all together. This is something not to mess around with.
Well, I hope that the country does come together, because we've been in such a rift, such a divide
A little bit.
in this nation, that if we, it's like, at least we have something to rally around and support each other for.
Yeah, we all want to live so we can wake up tomorrow and they can go back to doing what they were doing. But I pray that they don't. I hope they still continue, the left and the right, to unite over this and so much more. This could be it. This could really be it.
I think it is. I do think it is. We'll be right back on the flip side. You're listening to the G-Cast with Gary and Angie Franchi.
We've gotta pay a few bills over here, so sit tight, and the G-Cast will return in a few moments. time to return to the G-Cast with your host, Gary Franchi.
And we're back. We're back on the G-Cast. I'm Gary Franchi. I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Angie Franchi. We're going through all the things that are happening in the country right now. And before we left, we were talking about these prisoners who are going out there and voting and people being released from prison. But what's most important, we should talk about the people who are like out there, like the people who are not working right now. What did you pick up on that, Angie?
Well, we have doctors, we have nurses that still have to report to work. We have grocery clerks. A lot of people are still having to work through this. And how are they being compensated? What is going to happen with them? You know, a lot of people are really freaked out right now. We've got, this is a great story. This is a little ray of hope here. Out in Walmart, there's a story here. Walmart announces special cash bonus and early payment for Q1 bonuses totaling nearly $550 million for hourly associates. That's a little ray of sunshine right there. $550 million.
That is what Walmart is opening up to pay their employees? Wow.
Yeah. Walmart today announced plans to provide a special cash bonus for hourly associates for their hard work and dedication to serving customers in a time of unprecedented national health crisis. The bonus is for all U.S. hourly associates in stores, clubs, supply chains, and offices. The bonus will be $300 for full-time hourly associates and $150 for part-time hourly associates, and will add up to more than $365 million. This is a big ordeal right now. A lot of people are worried about that. I'm worried for them.
Brian, you can bring up that shot of the NDI, Walmart announcing special cash bonus of Q1. The stimulus proposal, Senate Democrats led by Bennett, Booker, and Brown proposing legislation to send as much as $4,500 to nearly every adult and child in the United States this year as part of a sustained government income support program to counter the economic slowdown. $4,500? I thought it was just $2,000. They're going to give $1,000
and $500 to children.
This was first $1,000 and then another check for $1,000. Mm-hmm. So $4,500 is a lot of money for them to be given out. Let's take a look at that. This is from the New York Times. Now, let's see. This is a different story. Brian, you don't need to bring it up. Okay, so where else are we here? Let's jump into some beautiful stuff. People in Italy. What are they doing out there in Italy, Angie?
So I'm sure people by now have seen some of the footage of people gathering on their balconies and singing and keeping each other hopeful, and in a time that is pretty scary right now. We've seen it in Italy. We've seen it in Israel.
Bring up that triple box, Brian. I'm going to play this in the background here.
Which one are you going to do?
This is the link that you have right there in the document. And Italians singing out in the streets. Can you bring up the volume on that, Brian? Can we hear it?
Sounds great. You'll start crying, aren't you? I am.
Wow. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
I'll start crying.
I know, my goodness.
Oh, man.
That is something so beautiful to see.
It really is. You've got Israelis on balconies serenading a couple getting married. Because, right now there's so many weddings that are being canceled, baptisms, bar mitzvahs, whatever, big gatherings that people are having to push back and in this time right now. And this is just a lovely, lovely thing to show off hope.
Israelis on balconies. This is from, is this Dan Pitts? No, this takes me to Dan Pitts. That link.
That's
well, I should bring up Dan, what he's doing, because it's really important. You can bring up this shot here, Brian.
So Dan's not singing on balconies yet, but he does do
I can see him doing that, though.
He totally would. You know what? He may get that going in downtown. But he definitely does some car singing, that's for sure. He keeps us motivated and happy. But he is a local guy out here. He runs Errand Up. And he puts out, if there's a call for need, he puts it out there and people hear it. And he's gotten some tremendous feedback from community. He just started collecting toilet paper for a retirement community.
You can bring up the triple box, Brian. I'm going to read this post here. And the post says, this picture, in the picture you see here, this is his first round of homestead donations picked up at Doocracy, which is a local pizza place. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, the homestead is in need of toilet paper and water distilled in purified gallons. So people are dropping stuff off at Doocracy, and he's picking it up and taking it to this, taking it to the homestead. Now, I'm getting, man, oh my goodness. I'm getting so many pop-ups and stuff right now. People are sending me messages. London is shutting down bars and essentials tonight. Shutting down bars and restaurants tonight. Yeah.
And that's why leaning on your community right now more than ever is so important.
Mm-hmm. So Dan is he's one of the main, I guess, he's like one of the main cogs.
Yeah.
In the community, who's helping keeping everything moving, because he represents a fleet of individuals who are delivering groceries, who are delivering essential supplies to people. He is putting himself in harm's way, and his drivers are putting themselves in harm's way because they recognize that people need to shelter in place, and he's going to be the person to help support that.
He is playing a huge role right now. In fact, I had a bottle of hand sanitizer and I gave it to him. I go, you need it now more than ever. He literally is, Gary, putting himself out there. But you're going to find that. You're going to find people who are stepping up and helping. And Kat from the Pantry will be talking to us later today. She'll be talking to us also about volunteers stepping up, because right now they are in need. Mm-hmm. This is the time to get together, reach out, lend each other a roll of toilet paper if you need to.
Can you spare a square? We're going to go back to that, are we?
I know.
So this is just what's happening. We're talking about what's happening in our town. I know this is happening across the country. I did a video from last night where people in Minnesota, it's on my Facebook page. You can go to my Facebook page. You can see the video of volunteers in Minnesota doing the same thing in a food pantry, trying to get people milk and eggs and cheese. And they had a big semi-trailer from Kemp, the dairy company, mm-hmm. and they were just distributing stuff, getting it all organized. They were all wearing masks, working hard to get things out to the people who need it.
Thank God for them. Thank God for them.
So I believe we're going to be bringing on Kat in the next segment. So we want to make sure that we get that connected. She's going to be calling us. Well, it's a phone in because we're trying to keep social distancing, right? But this will be the first phone in we do.
Unfortunately, we cannot bring Kat in today. No, she's busy working.
She's busy working,
even if we wanted to.
She's at the pantry, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on at the pantry and what you can do to help, and maybe reach out to a local food pantry in your area to see if you can help, or See if there's something that you need. That's where you got to go to get it. If you can't afford it, if you're out of work, these food pantries are critical. Just as Dan Pitts and Aaron Dupp are critical components of the community, so are these food pantries.
Yeah, absolutely. Now is the time to really look and find your resources. If you're on Facebook, that's one way I do it. I look for my community page. And from there, I get led to the next. And that is a great resource to look up to. We also have a lot of more resources for you guys to take a
We're going to jump to a
at
break right now.
A little bit later.
And then we're going to bring on Kat. I believe we do have, is she on the line? I believe somebody's on the line here. So we'll be right back on the flip side of this break. GCast.
Don't go anywhere. Gary Franchi will be right back after a word from our sponsors. And now, back to the GCast.
And we are back in the D block of the GCast. I'm Gary Franchi, and I'm joined by my co-host, Angie Franchi.
Welcome back, everybody.
We're talking about what's happening in the country today. Everyone's responding to the coronavirus, the shelter-in-place orders. And one person who is joining us now, Kat Battista, she is with the Aurora Interfaith Food Pantry. She's a close friend of ours. She's doing God's work out there. Kat, welcome to the GCast.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so humbled.
Welcome, Kat. We're so happy that you're joining us. I'm so happy to be catching up with you, even though it's over the phone.
I know. I'm socially distancing, giving you a hug. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely. You're getting that hug right back, girl. Kat, what you're doing at the pantry right now is bringing tears to my eyes. And I've been keeping up with what you've been doing, your volunteers, your staff there, how you are serving the community. Kat, can you tell us how many do you normally serve in a day at the pantry?
So typically what we see in a distribution cycle is about 900 people a week, okay? And since COVID-19 has gone viral, literally, we're serving 1,200 a day. So you can see that there has been a huge increase in the number of people who are coming to us for food.
Yes. And how are you taking precautions right now at the pantry to help, avoid spreading the virus and keeping yourself safe and everyone coming in?
Well, it's kind of bittersweet, but part of what has made our program so special over the 40 years that it's been in business is that we've been a community grocer. And what it has always been is a free market where people can come in and interact with staff and volunteers. And, we have fun community events that are going on at the grocery store, and they can get a free cart full of groceries. And because of COVID, we've had to eliminate that model, which is really sad for us. So now instead we're doing a drive-through model where we are having very minimal interaction with our guests through their vehicles and order to get them food. Yeah.
For people who don't know out there, Gary and I, we are deeply, deeply in love and just huge fans of the pantry. And we ourselves have been in the pantry before. And just based on what you were saying, I can understand when you say it's bittersweet, because when someone comes into the pantry, they are welcomed from the minute they step a foot in there, from the person at the front door to the staff behind the desk to everyone helping with the grocery distribution. It's just such a warm environment that you guys provide there, and it's so uplifting and positive. And to do this now, I could totally see what you're saying. It's been an honor.
Kat, Gary Franchi here. Great to talk to you. What are you seeing as far as an uptick? Because a lot of people are out of work right now. So, are you seeing an uptick in people who are coming in for foods? What type of precautions are you taking so that people can rest assured that when they go to see you guys to get the food, that there's no, obviously social distancing is one thing, but you do actually have to have a connection with them or when they drop off the food or pick up the food? Or do you drop it off and they pick it up and load themselves? How does the process work? Walk us through that.
Well, here's the thing. There's not really a process yet. We are developing a process because no one anticipates having a pandemic that they have to respond to. I feel like this is something out of a movie, honestly. When you were talking about outbreak and stuff, I'm like, I know, that's like my life. So we are meeting week by week with our leadership and other people in leadership around the community to create a plan every single week for what we're going to be doing next week. So this past Friday, we had a meeting and we executed that plan. And for the most part, it worked really well. But, wow, we learned a lot. And now we're going to be changing things even more, especially as the pandemic really starts to get some bigger teeth, right?
Well, with the governor issuing the shelter-in-place order today, following suit with New York and California and other states, that changes everything. Because now, if everyone's ordered to stay home, you have volunteers who you rely on who are critical. How do you think that this is going to affect the ability for your volunteers? Are the volunteers going to be allowed to move freely through Aurora to get to your food pantry? You are critical infrastructure, in my opinion. So what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, lucky for everyone that I'm not very good at following the rules. So when it comes to making sure the pantry is feeding 100% of the people that come through, me and my minivan are going to be here, and I don't know, maybe I have to hide people in the back of the minivan under blankets,
oh my goodness,
go pick them up and bring them over. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that.
I don't think we're necessarily there yet, but
you're great. You're great.
Okay.
In other words, you would do anything to feed the people that come in and count on you every single day. Speaking of people coming in, who are you seeing coming in? You've got an influx of new people, right? Like what
Oh
feedback are
my
you
gosh,
getting
it was
from people?
crazy. Yeah, so in the very beginning, we were actually polling people and asking them what was bringing them into the facility because, I mean, we had so many new folks coming in through the queue, and they were saying, it's my first time, and that's unusual to have that many first-timers, and we ended up taking like a survey at the end, and almost all of the new people reported that they were coming in because of job loss related to COVID or because of school closures. Notably, not one of them reported coming because of illness, but all because they've been let go, laid off, and or their kids' schools have closed. And a lot of families, especially in Aurora and some of the surrounding communities, depend upon the school lunch program, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now that that's gone bye-bye, we have to step in.
Because they're definitely having a need to serve more meals at home now. Oh my gosh! Thank God you guys are there.
Now, now you work with the Northern Illinois Food Bank, and how have they been in stocking you? Because one of my biggest concerns is maintaining the supply chain, and because you operate in a little bit of a different supply chain scenario, but you still rely on grocery stores. They help you and they donate too, but the Northern Illinois Food Bank is one of your largest suppliers. How are they holding up with materials, toilet paper, sundries, sanitizer? And how are those materials getting to you? Are you noticing any drop in the quantities of any kind?
Okay, let's talk about the Northern Illinois Food Bank real quick. They've got a great program over there. They're wonderful people. But what they do is they actually hold product that we receive from the federal government. It's called commodities. And they are more of a holding distribution center. And then they bring that product to us. As far as any specific like high need items for us, which would include toilet paper and paper towels and hand sanitizer, diapers, formula, the same stuff everybody is after currently. We haven't received distribution, like an additional distribution of supplies from them yet. But again, they're probably still just trying to like wrap their minds around this. Where we've seen our biggest support in the last 2 weeks is actually from our restaurant community and from Hollywood Casino, of all people.
Wow.
The casino does, yeah, I mean, those guys, the Hollywood Casino guys, not only did they bring us like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds of fresh produce and dairy that we were able to distribute this week. Greg Moore, who's the vice president at Hollywood Casino, he was literally on campus, volunteering, setting up tents, working out in the rain with me, like amazing. So that's community right there, you know?
Wow, that's beautiful.
That is community, and so many people are stepping up and volunteering with you. Are you seeing a good amount of people coming out as well, coming to help?
No, we've seen a huge reduction in volunteers, which I can appreciate. Most of our volunteers are boomers or retirees, and a lot of them are very scared about the impact of COVID because they've been marketing it as such almost like a death sentence for people who are above a certain age group. And we've seen a lot of people just, responding to that media stream, and now they're going to be staying at home. So now we are in like desperate need for volunteers.
So a lot of your main volunteers, the individuals that I've met, are they basically sheltering in place and now not coming in to volunteer?
More and more every week.
Wow.
And we're going to be super respectful of that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be. Everybody has to be because we're all responding in our own way. And, we've never gone through this before. This is the first time for everybody, really. So
you guys are doing such an incredible job there. Your staff has got to be just tighter than ever right now. And I pray that continues for you guys. I pray that we have some volunteer help. But what are other ways that we can help you out? What's another way that the pantry can be assisted right now?
Typically I would never want to be this, type of ED or leader in a role that was like, give us money, but give us money. We really need money to pay the bills. And
absolutely.
For us, one of the things that we're thinking of is that we may need to bring on additional paid personnel, especially since there's so many folks that are at a job loss right now who might be willing to come and actually work here during the COVID crisis to get food out. And if we had enough influx of cash to do that, that would be great. We are, our humble organization. I was reviewing all our financials before I got on the phone with you guys. It takes about $75,000 a month to keep us up and running. And when we do it at $75,000 a month, it's because we have 500 volunteers that are passing through our facility. We usually do anywhere from 50 to 60 volunteers on a distribution cycle. We did it with 20 this past Thursday. I was out in the parking lot checking people in. I was hauling boxes. You guys know, I'm a lawyer. I'm an indoor kind of girl. I don't do heavy lifting. Here I am.
Here you
doing
are.
Heavy lifting. So
you are leading by example, and you're doing a great job out there. I love keeping up with you guys. You are inspiring me, and I want to see that more in the community as well, and just giving back to you guys, because you are giving so much right now. You are so important to so many families right now, and that's how we need to support one another.
I'm looking at your website right now. $25 feeds a family for an entire week. $50 provides $350 worth of groceries. $100 fills 7 grocery carts with food. $250 allows 15 pickups through food rescue. $1,000 provides a mobile pantry for 125 seniors. And on the previous page, I thought was really beautiful is that every $10 donated is equal to $70 worth of food. How do you do that?
Isn't that amazing? It's because of our buying power, actually, with our friends over at the Northern Illinois Food Bank. So we have the ability to buy food directly from the food bank in addition to the commodities program that we participate in with them. And we can buy $7 worth of food for $1. And that's incredible. And we're going to need to do that more and more and more because, as you all know, you've been huge supporters of the Pantry. We get most of our food from our food recovery program. Which is an environmental program where we go in and we recover all of the food from major grocery stores to bring back and distribute here to our hungry neighbors. But now that these grocery stores are wiped out, we're not getting as much food recovery product, and that means we're going to have to buy. So our purchasing budget is going to go through the roof with having to buy more food. But, can I share with you guys a really cool story real quick? Just
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
really cool that happened today.
Please, absolutely.
Okay. This is the stuff that makes it all worth it. I have seen more good and more beauty in people as a result of this COVID-19 than I have seen anger or fear. I think people need to protect themselves and protect their families for sure. But we got a phone call today from a senior home, and they literally had no idea how they were going to get enough groceries for their 100 residents. And we were able to load up the minivan and drive out there with Cupcake, the pantry pug, who you can see how cute she is on our social media.
Adorable.
And these people, their faces were such joy, and that's what this is about. It's these moments where we get to forge these incredible memories with other people that we otherwise would have no connection with.
Oh my gosh. That's it. That's the connection. And that's going to be a lifelong connection, and that'll build on itself moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to the Pantry. Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you to you guys. I don't know how we would do it without having supporters like you. Your family has been so wonderful to us, whether it be Gary dressing up like Santa. That was great.
That was the best. That was so wonderful. Well, we really feel united there, and it is a blessing to give back and to serve your community and to serve others. And that is what you guys are doing. We are going to hold you up in prayer, and we want people to help you out at your pantry, and also to look at your local pantry out there, people. We need to be supporting one another right now, because you are the heart of hope right now. We need to be able to feed and serve one another.
Yeah, your food pantry it feeds how many people a year?
113,000.
So 113,000, and that number is going to no doubt increase due to this pandemic. And there are folks listening that there's a food pantry in your town. We're talking about Aurora, Illinois here, but there is a food pantry in your town, and look for it. If you can support that food pantry in your town, call them up, say, hey, what do you need? If you've been hoarding stuff and you say, you know what, maybe I should help other people, maybe you can give off some of your extra stuff to that food pantry. Or maybe if you're in need, contact your local food pantry, because these food pantries are critical infrastructure to help us get through these times. Kat, what about toilet paper? How are you guys doing on toilet paper? Everyone says a run on toilet paper everywhere, so.
We are like almost out of toilet paper, and I mean like our own like staff. It's like BYOR, bring your own roll to work. I mean,
wow.
like,
You got a good sense of humor about that. I like it. Oh.
I mean, seriously.
So we need some
I was
donations
just
happening
there and
right
I was like,
away.
Where's the toilet paper? Yeah, I was like, "Where's the toilet paper?" And they're like, "We're out." I was like, "Oh no."
Oh boy! Oh boy!
So we got a box of tissues in there, though.
I'm looking at the your social media page right now on Facebook, and you can see all these cars driving through, lining up, and all these people. It's beautiful to see that you guys are still functioning and thriving in this environment.
I see you volunteering in the rain along with other volunteers like Dr. Jennifer Mercier.
Oh yeah, Dr. Jenny, she killed it, and she brought us all donuts.
Making it all
I think we should point out that if you are not in that critical health range that COVID-19 is unfortunately affecting, consider volunteering your time at the pantry. I know it's scary to go out there in these times with the shelter-in-place orders, and but if you feel led to do so, follow your heart, follow the Lord, and help these people in their time right now, because everybody needs to come together.
Absolutely,
Amen.
Gary. God bless you.
So we're winding down in this segment here, but Kat, I want to thank you for joining us. Is there any other points that you want to get out to the people who are listening right now? Maybe you could give some advice to some of the viewers across the country.
Be kind. Be patient. Give grace. I would say, I know I'm a woman of faith. Jeff's a man of faith. That's my husband. You're both people of faith too. And I think we really have to lean into that, and we have to be careful. So.
Absolutely,
Hello?
Kat. Be
Yeah, we're here.
kind and share that
just
with
looking at
each
your-
I felt
other.
like I got cut off. I heard
No,
the awesome Gary Franchi music.
no. That was the music from your Facebook page. It accidentally activated.
Oh.
Yeah, because we're scrolling
like,
through it
oh.
right now, so people can get an idea of what's
That's
going
good.
on.
Yeah.
I like your
I
message,
just
Kat.
think we
I
need to
totally
have
agree.
faith. Thanks. Yeah, we need to have faith, and don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. We've survived worse than this.
It will be okay, and you are absolutely correct. Spread love, spread kindness, give back right now when you can, and we will get through this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, thank you so much for all that you are
Absolutely.
doing there. Big hugs to everyone working with you. And
All right, Kat. Thank you so much for joining
All right.
us, and
I love you guys. I love you guys so
we
much.
love
We'll
you
talk
too,
soon.
Kat.
We're going to come back and catch up with
Bye.
you later on a future episode. On the other side of this pandemic, that was Kat Battista from the
Bye-bye,
Aurora
sweetie.
Interfaith Food Pantry. You can find them on Facebook. If you want to support them, donate to them. I encourage you to do so. If you want to volunteer, give them a call. You can look them up on Facebook, on Google, wherever the internet is still connected by you. And I know, Angie, we wanted to talk about a couple other things in this segment. I know we're going to probably take this segment. You know what we can do, Brian? Let's cut to a quick break, and we'll come back with a 10-minute segment. We'll cover the ground that we missed,
Sure.
and then we'll close out the show. Because I know, Angie, you wanted to get to daily activities for families with children.
Yeah, I know everyone or many people are going through what we're going through right now and pulling your hair out, trying to figure out what to do with the little ones. But we'll definitely cover that when we get back.
Yeah, so Brian, let's cut to another break, and we'll go to another 10-minute segment after this, and we'll get this. We'll do a wrap up of all the stuff we missed here. All right, we'll see you on the flip side. You are listening to the G-Cast with Gary and Angie Franchi.
The G-Cast will be right back after this short break from our sponsors. After Hours is back.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. I'm Angie Franchise, my husband Gary Franchi. This is the G-Cast. And I'm so glad that we're all in this together right now, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the show thus far. We've covered a lot of different topics, and we will continue to do so. We're going to keep rolling with you on everything that we're going through with the virus. But something that is happening in our life right now while we're dealing with the virus is daily activities. We are home with the kids. The kids are out of school, and it's been an adjustment. I've done some homeschooling before, but it's been a while.
I want to bring up real quick here. I just got sent a message from a friend, Mitchell. He's a photographer. He works on set here occasionally. He just sent me pictures of Michigan Avenue. Did you see that?
Oh no, what's up?
Bring up the NDI shot. This is Michigan Avenue right now, and this is pretty remarkable to be seeing this occurring. Just want to make sure people see this. This is currently Michigan Avenue.
So they're probably getting geared up in case there is any looting or riots happening. Yeah, but hopefully people are going to be too scared to come on out.
Or you can take that shot down. Okay, so you're talking about homeschooling, and we've been going through a lot here with the kids and getting them together, getting them organized, and you've been doing a remarkable job trying to keep them occupied, getting them into a schedule, working with the computers and the remote schooling for little G. But it hasn't been easy. I know this is probably happening in households all across the country.
Yeah, everyone's having to switch gears, and they're playing teacher and parent. But luckily, with our school, with our son's school, they have been so tremendously helpful. They've been sending little videos for the kids to watch and just keeping them motivated. We're trying to keep a regular routine, which I got to say has been very helpful. You know, if you try to just, lay out some ideas of what normally happens in your child's day at school and try to implement that at home, whether it's, the time where he has snack or lunch or time for outside. We try to focus on getting the kids outside definitely and following that routine. But there's a lot of great online resources if you don't have, your school directing you, which they probably should by now. But Scholastic is offering online free learning activities. There's also different zoos are doing, like the San Diego Zoo, where you can do they'll have like a webcam of the animals and you can do a virtual tour. Museums are doing that. We've had some fun doing that with the Chicago museums.
I was wondering about that because I see San Diego Zoo kids here. I'm like, wait a minute, what's the San Diego Zoo doing? But that makes sense to set up webcams and do virtual, a virtual zoo. That's really cool. I'm gonna pull up that link.
I did it. It was so fun. It gets a little boring if your kid's jumping around a little bit, but it was fun for me. But if you go to kidsactivitiesblog.com, there's a list of activities there for your child to look at, as well as parents looking for educational pieces to work into the daily routine.
Kids Activities Blog. Let's go to that. Okay. Yeah, you can pull up that shot. Kidsactivities.com. Kidsactivitiesblog.com. The entire list of education companies offering free subscriptions due to school closings. Free subscriptions. That's pretty remarkable because I've looked at some of these courses before, these online courses, and they can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, everything is. If you go to Scholastic, that was a lot of fun. That is free as well. They go through all the different grades, K through 12. They'll do a book. They'll do an activity, a craft. Like our kids are young. We're in second and preschool. So for me, I find it so unbelievably helpful because keeping your kids involved in what they normally do, and also it distracts you as well. So it's good for the parent and the child to stay motivated and distracted from some of the stuff going on right now.
What are lunch doodles?
Oh, click it.
What are lunch doodles?
Lunch doodles with Mo Williams. This is fun. Mo Williams invites you into his studio every day for his lunch doodle. Learners worldwide can draw, doodle, and explore new ways of writing by visiting Mo's studio virtually once a day for the next few weeks. Grab some paper and pencils, pens, or crayons, and join Mo to explore ways of writing and making together.
This is so surreal what we're experiencing. All this stuff, like, it's all remote. It's all like,
could you live like
things-
this? Could you stay like this?
I don't know. I mean, if I was a single person and I didn't have a wife and kids, I don't know what I would be doing. I mean, my father, he's in Florida by himself.
Yeah. Well, he's got a pool.
He's got a pool. He can hang out, but at the same time, it's like he's not as well connected to everything as we are because, he's from a different generation. He tries really hard.
Yeah.
But like just looking at these things, it's really dawning on me that we gotta hunker down for the long haul, as long as it takes to get through this.
Yeah, mentally, that's what I'm doing. I mean, it's day by day, and I'm trying not to get overwhelmed, getting used to a new normal, making it work for our family, because, if you and I are not leading the charge here.
I keep hearing that term, the new normal. Like, my goodness, what does that mean? And when does it stop? When do we not have a new normal? When do we go back to the old normal?
I know.
Like, I don't want to freak myself out. I have a tendency to do that. I'm in the news business. I'm always reading headlines.
You bring up a good point. And when you're doing what you're doing, you have to find outlets no matter what your normal is. This is the time to find an outlet, positive outlets, and stay positive as best as you can. We can't deny what's going on. We're certainly in the thick of it right now.
And I think this is just the beginning. This is only the beginning. We're at the beginning stages. This is day 5 of the presidential CDC quarantine, self-quarantine recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And with Illinois going into a shelter-in-place mode, we're going to find out more details exactly what that means. But the governor, I'm going to say this again. The governor reassured everybody that we're not going to have to worry about buildings shutting down and
Grocery
roadblocks
stores,
and grocery
banks
stores.
will stay open.
Those things are
gas
going to stay
stations.
open.
Yeah, hospitals. These things will stay open. You're not going to the mall, ladies. Get used to your nails not being done or your hair. We were joking about that.
Well, we have a friend who owns a nail salon, and they told me that people were still going out as of 2 days ago. They were still going out and getting their nails done. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing going into a place like that where you have the public going in and out? This thing has a 14 to 27 day incubation period where you don't even have symptoms. And that's I think that's why it's such a lockdown situation.
Because people are not adhering to the advice.
People aren't listening, and they said, listen, now we got to do it this way because you didn't listen the first time.
We don't want to prolong this. We want businesses back up and running. We want the economy to stay strong. We want people back at work. We don't want people losing work. People in the food industry right now, hospitality industry, they're suffering. And I also want to bring that up as another point. Right now, please support your local restaurants and your local grocery stores. Don't be running over to Costco every minute. Check out your local grocery store, your mom and pop shops.
We've got a clip here. We're going to leave you with a clip that's guaranteed to put a smile on your face. And I want to thank you for watching the GCast. We've got a clip here. President Trump trolling the fake news media during his most recent press conference, telling the media we need to get rid of 80% of them because they're sitting too close in a press conference. Keep 2 or 3 reporters he likes and get rid of the rest.
You gotta laugh at this once in a while.
You gotta laugh, okay?
Come on.
He's trying to make light of the situation. Of course, his combat with the press. So, any final thoughts before we go into the clip?
About this clip or just final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Stay close to your loved ones. Call people. Don't just text, pick up the phone. I got to do that too today. I've got a list of family that I'm going to call and tell them I love them so much. And just be kind. Keep spreading that kindness and love around.
All right, folks. We'll see you on the next episode of the GCast. God willing, say a prayer, and let's go to
Bye, everybody.
the
Thank you
president
for watching.
in the the president right now. Let's go to the clip.
Do you have any guidance for Congress? Should they?
I know all of them, and I don't know if they're sitting like you people are sitting. You're actually sitting too close. We should probably get rid of about another 75-80% of you. I'll have just 2 or 3 that I like in this room. I think that's a great way of doing it. We just figured a new way of doing it, but you're actually much too close. You two, you should leave immediately. But look. I know all of them. They tested positive. Hopefully, they're all going to get better. And it's one of those things. It's Congress, It's one of those.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
That's all we've got for you right now. Gary's got to run. We thank you for tuning into our podcast. If you're hungry for more, head on over to Gary's Next News Network YouTube channel for the latest news and commentary on current events. Until next time, stay gold.